The following is a presentation of KBEK Sports, local sports.
Past the 25, to the 20, to the 15, he's going to high step into the end zone, touchdown!
Here, wide receivers split each side.
He's still going into the end zone.
East Central Minnesota, the action starts now. To bring you the call, here's Ethan Game Day Gilman.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside North Branch High School for tonight's girls playoff basketball matchup here between the North Branch Vikings and the Chisago Lakes Wildcats. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman, and I'll be bringing you all the action from tonight's game here at North Branch High School, and it should be a good one here between these two teams. This will wind up being the third meeting between these two teams here this season. Of course, they met twice during the regular season for conference play, but now they'll be meeting again in the playoffs. And it's a win or go home situation for both of these squads, of course. They both play out of Section 7-3A, and both ended the regular season a little bit differently. For Chisago Lakes, it ended on a high note as they were able to beat Big Lake in exciting fashion. Kind of a back and forth game there throughout the entirety of that one, but then in the second half it was all Chisago Lakes in that game as they were able to defeat the Hornets of Big Lake in their regular season finale. And North Branch unfortunately fell to St. Francis in their regular season finale. Sorry about that. We've got Chris Gable who joins us on the broadcast. He's one of the refs tonight, so interesting to see him here tonight. He won't be broadcasting with us, no, but he will be on the floor in some sort of fashion. But as I mentioned, Chisago Lakes won their game over Big Lake in their regular season finale at home, while North Branch fell to St. Francis in their regular season finale. It was a game, I think, in which North Branch feels like they could have won. They maybe should have won, but they just couldn't get their offense going the way that they would have liked to have in that game. And it's really unfortunate because it would have been nice to see them play a little bit better in that regular season finale. But now coming into the playoffs, they'll have an entire new outlook on it because, again, it's a brand new season as you start the playoffs. For Chisago Lakes, it looks like they will have Annika Hall back. Annika Hall had missed a good chunk of the season, if not more than half of the season, with a leg injury, but she is finally back in the lineup here tonight. She won't be starting, but she will be in uniform tonight, so we'll see how much she is able to play. Of course, they're still going to work her back probably a little bit more slowly just because, again, they don't want to force her to be back sooner than she should be, and she is only a freshman herself, so working her back at a little bit of a slower pace, I think, is an okay thing just because you don't want to rush her and then have that injury become a problem in the future and have to make her worry about it for a long time. Again, but it is nice to see her back in uniform for the Wildcats. Again, for North Branch, they lost their final game to St. Francis, and again, the scoreboard will show it as a little bit more lopsided, and it definitely was, but being at that game and calling it, you definitely could tell North Branch just didn't have everything that they wanted that night. And let me tell you what, if they, and I think that's been one of the things this year has been consistency for these Vikings is just trying to find more consistency offensively. We know their defense is pretty darn good, but it's been the offense, which is surprising that it's the offensive side of things that is not as consistent as it should be. I mean, last year they were scoring well over 60 points per game. Now this year, struggling to get over that 60-point mark per game. But they're still a good team. They're still battling. They're still fighting hard. And I mean, again, they may not end it with the record that they would have liked to have had, but that doesn't matter now because it's the playoffs, and the playoffs as a whole, as I mentioned before, is a brand new season. So anything that happened during the regular season gets thrown out. The records, the accomplishments, it doesn't matter now because it's playoffs, and playoffs are a completely different animal. And I expect tonight's game to be a good one, as we talked about earlier. Both these teams face off during the regular season. And in those two regular season games, it was North Branch getting the win as they finished with a 15-11 record. Chisago Lakes 3-23. But again, Chisago Lakes is a gritty team, and you're not just going to walk all over them. They're going to give you a fight, and I expect to see the same tonight. But in those two games that North Branch won, it was a 61-47 game in the first game back in December, middle of December, in which North Branch won 61-47. That's one where I thought, man, if Chisago Lakes had a few more minutes to play in that one, would have come out with victory. But then it was a pretty dominating defensive game when it came to North Branch at North Branch High School. The Vikings won 51-29. It was pretty favored in North Branch just because they took control early on, let their defense do the work, and, man, their defense did all the work in that one. As we take a look at the Vikings this season, lost to Bram to start the season, won 2 in a row, then lost to Rockridge and Hermantown. Then they won 3 in a row, lost to Becker, then won 5 in a row before losing to Monticello and St. Francis. Then they beat Big Lake, lost to Becker, won 2 in a row, lost to Cambridge Isani, won 2 in a row, and then lost their last 3 to Princeton, Monticello, and St. Francis. But again, those last 3 games were a gauntlet. Princeton, Monticello, and St. Francis were all up over the 130s in the QRF, and usually if you're in the 100s, you're in a good spot section-wise and class-wise. So it was a really tough season. They played a lot of the top teams in the state this season, and again, although it's still a good season, still a winning season, the consistency on offense was just not there for them as much as they would have liked. Again, 55 points per game they score while allowing 54 points per game. But again, that defense is very, very good, and it's a lot better than what that will show. But their offense is also a lot better than what it shows on paper. This team has the ability to score 70, 75 points game in, game out. But again, it's about finding that consistency for them here in the playoffs. Chisago Lakes, as I mentioned before, 3-23 on the season, 1-4 in the section, while North Branch was 6-2. Chisago Lakes scored 38 points per game while giving up 55 points per game. And looking at the season for Chisago Lakes, again, only 3 wins, so the wins were spread out. But they did win 2 in a row before Christmas break against St. Croix Prep on the road, and then they won at Hibbing right after the New Year's. So 2 in a row there, and then they didn't win for a while until their last game of the regular season, which they beat Big Lake 56-52. Now, again, there were some games this season that they definitely could have turned around and had. St. Agnes, they only lost by 6 there. Where was the other one? North Branch, again, I said if they had a few more minutes, they were on the comeback. They would have won that one. Another one is Zimmerman. I think I was at that one, and that's a game, man, they really they should have won, in my opinion. They only lost by 7. And there are a few more in there. Mound West Tonka, I was at that one. That's another one I think they should have won. Again, they were on that comeback trail, just kind of ran out of time. And then against Zimmerman again, only a 7-point loss, and then they beat Big Lake. So there were definitely a few more wins in there. Maybe not double-digit wins, but it could have got close to 7 or 8 wins this year. But again, it's still a young team. They don't have any seniors on the roster. They have 2 juniors. The rest are sophomore, freshmen, and 8th graders. So it's a very young team, very inexperienced, but I can't wait to see what this Chisago Lakes team looks like going forward next year and the years down the road, because they are going to be a tough team to beat. Again, they have Annika Hallback in the lineup tonight. Not starting, but she hopefully we'll see her play tonight again after suffering that leg injury earlier in the season. North Branch, again, a good chunk of seniors will be leaving this year. I think there's 7 of them. Taking a look at those 7, Caitlin Lattimore, Joanna Bartkey, Ashley Bistadu. Then we got Ella Kuhlman along with Maria Damiani, Isabel Folkema, and Haley Diaz. Those are all the seniors for North Branch, so they've got 7 of them. 5 of them will start tonight, but that's usually how it goes. But they were missing Diaz for a good chunk of time. They were missing Haley Diaz for a little while, and when they got her back in the lineup, man, they were glad to have her back in the lineup. Now, obviously, they played well without her, but having her in the lineup does make a little bit of a difference defensively because she plays so aggressively, but does it so smartly that this team really, really feeds off of that. And she's good for a couple of takeaways per game. Not only is she good for a couple of takeaways, she's good for a couple jump balls as well, tying the ball up. So she plays aggressive, but she does so very smartly so as not to draw too many fouls. In that game against St. Francis, it was the first game back in a while that I got to call. And, man, I think she had 3 or 4 steals in that one, tied it up about the same amount, and only had a couple of fouls. So they're certainly glad to have her back in the lineup, and both these teams at full strength here for the most part tonight, and I'm excited for this one. Right before we get to our final commercial break before tip-off, I did have a chance to, text some interview questions with head coach Joe Lattimore of the North Branch Vikings. It was schedule-wise, I have been so busy, haven't had time to do a phone interview, but one of the things that I asked him was with the regular season over, what are some of the things that his team improved upon the most? And he said, quote, "I think one of the things we did as the season progressed is we learned to play as a team. The team came together and really worked hard to be successful. Even through some adversity, the girls stuck together and got better." Another one was, what was the message to the team following the last regular season game? He said, "We ended the regular season with a gauntlet of conference games," which we talked about with Princeton, Monticello, and St. Francis. He said, "Those games prepared us for the postseason. Now we need to take what we learned from those games and apply it to our postseason," end quote. So for the North Branch Vikings, this is, again, they had a gauntlet. It was nothing short of that. And it was tough, but they learned from that, and now they get to get prepared for the playoffs from those. And I know a lot of people think, well, if you play too tough of games, it may destroy their confidence. I think this North Branch team knows that and takes those games in a way in which they learn rather than it hit their confidence. That's going to be it for the pregame. We're going to take a commercial break. Hear a word from our fine sponsors. Then after the national anthem, we'll be back with your starting lineups on KBEK.
Need reliable energy? Burnett Dairy Cooperative has you covered with top-quality propane services. Whether you're heating your home, running your business, or firing up the grill, our propane is safe, efficient, and always dependable. Choose Burnett Dairy Cooperative Propane, your trusted partner for all things energy. Stay warm, stay powered, stay local.
Your journey to smile with your forever starts at Embrace Orthodontics. The team at Embrace is committed to providing world-class care and a remarkable orthodontic experience. Choose between custom Light Force braces or Invisalign clear aligners with locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge, and a plan to fit your budget, whether you have insurance or not. Embrace Orthodontics will make your smile journey comfortable, convenient, and customized just for you. Visit EmbraceMN.com today to find out how to set up your free exam. EmbraceMN.com. Embrace Orthodontics. A smile you will embrace forever.
You gotta stop somewhere, so make a stop into the Holiday Station store in Pine City and start saving. Right now, grab CK Oil, save $2 when you buy 2, or CK Diesel DEF treatment for only $23.99. While you're at Holiday, they still have the $3, $4, $5 meal deals on some of your favorite items, and Refresh Team Spirit with Mountain Dew are 3 for $6, or Celsius, buy one get one free. Whoa! Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City.
Dale's Heating and Appliance, your local heating and appliance expert, is committed to making your family's comfort their top priority. And now you can add water softeners to their list of expertise. Dale's now offers water softener sales or rentals along with installation, service, and salt delivery. So if your home needs quality water, make the call to your already trusted experts at Dale's, or just visit dalesheatingandappliance.com. dalesheatingandappliance.com.
Embrace Orthodontics offers a unique, specialized approach to orthodontic treatment with custom braces or Invisalign. The team at Embrace loves getting to know their patients personally and takes the time to make sure all your questions are answered. Their board-certified orthodontists use only the latest in modern technology to give you the best outcome possible. They work with your insurance company and offer flexible financing options to fit your budget. Call today to set up your free exam and see how Embrace Orthodontics can transform your smile. More online at EmbraceMN.com. That's EmbraceMN.com.
Back here on Nice 95.5 FM, KBEK. Getting set for your starting lineups here. For the Chisago Lakes Wildcats, it will be number 1, Claire Beaver. Number 20, Kayla Larson. Number 23, Lily Smith. number 24, McKenna Thorson, and number 30, Rayanne Goring. Again, Annika Hall rather is back in the lineup, but she will not start tonight. They have switched up that starting lineup a little bit here late in the season, where they have Lily Smith in as part of the starting lineup here late in the year. Chisago Lakes is, of course, head coached by Trig Thompson. On the other side for the North Branch Vikings, starting is all five of the 7 seniors. Number 1, Caitlin Lattimore. Number 2, Joanna Bartkey. Number 23, Ella Kuhlman. Number 32, Bella Folkema. And number 34, Haley Diaz. Again, both these teams really happy to have their young ladies back. Haley Diaz for North Branch, Annika Hall for Chisago Lakes. North Branch is, of course, head coached by Joe Lattimore. Continuing on with the texting interview I had with Coach Lattimore, I said, as a coach, how do you balance commending the team on the accomplishments of the season and then shifting over to getting ready for playoffs? He said, quote, our goal through the season is to be playing our best basketball at the end of the season. We want to be our very best when it counts the most. Our girls understand that this is the season that counts. Everyone is 0-0, and losing means the season is over. We cannot take practices or games for granted, end quote. We'll get you more of that. I have a couple more questions I asked him from that texting interview, but I appreciate him texting me back. I just, again, scheduling-wise, I just didn't have time as of late to get a phone call in. So I appreciate him taking time to text me back, and with his busy schedule, he's principal up at Hinckley Finlayson. He's got to come down here to coach, and he's got his daughters here as well. So it's a lot for him, so I appreciate him taking the time. And we're ready for tip. Bartkey, Larson, and the tip is won by the Wildcats. So the Wildcats will hold possession first, and it is Thorson who nearly loses it. It's Diaz. Who else but Diaz? And now we're going to get a foul here on the Wildcats. So a steal by Diaz, and then the foul on the Wildcats, Lily Smith. It's her first teams as well. And early on, I mentioned it in the pregame that Haley Diaz is back, and they are happy to have her back because she's good for a couple turnovers a game, and she proved it right there. Beautiful pass inside from Ella Kuhlman to Joanna Bartkey, and the Vikings are on the board first 2-0. Wildcats slow it down coming up the court. There's the freshman Claire Beaver, gives over to Lily Smith. Now on the far side, Lily Smith trying to drive inside, give it off to Thorson. That's going to draw a foul from Joanna Bartkey. A little too much contact there. And Chris Gable with the call on that one. Again, appreciate Chris Gable. He's joined us for some broadcasts this year. Meanwhile, Joanna Bartkey with the first foul for North Branch. Teams first, and Thorson to shoot 2. First one is no good. Gable joins us for some broadcasts. He said this fall he'll be able to join us for more. I'm excited for that. And Thorson's second one is no good. Rebounded by Folkema. Ella Kuhlman gives to Folkema. Folkema stops her drive, gives to Diaz. Diaz on the far side. Give back to Folkema. Folkema trying to drive baseline. Give underneath to Bartkey, and she is wide open for 2 again. A little bit of a mismatch there played by the North Branch Vikings, finding Bartkey underneath. Now quickly up the court to Larson, and then they try to go to Thorson, and Thorson gets fouled again, and she's going to go back to the line. Second team foul on the Vikings. This will be the first on Diaz. And again, Thorson to shoot 2. First one is no good. Thorson is good on that one. 1 of 2 for Thorson. That trip around, and it's 4-1 for the Vikings. Now we're going to get a ball that was knocked out of bounds on the inbound by Chisago Lakes, but it stays with North Branch. Inbound now to Diaz. They'll get it right to Folkema. Folkema looking. She'll bring it up the court herself on the direction from Kuhlman. Now to Diaz. Diaz finds a lane, kicks it back outside to Lattimore for a long 2. It's going to be just off the mark. Bartkey trying to grab it, and Goring tiptoes the baseline and winds up getting the rebound. Now up the court, they'll give it to Claire Beaver. Beaver gives on the near side to Smith. Lily Smith cutting back inside, give over to Beaver. Beaver going to try and drive baseline, kicks it out to Thorson. Thorson nearly lost that one. She finds a lane to the basket. Shot is up and no good, but a rebound there by Larson is blocked and stolen away. I think that was Bartkey. Now up the court with it. Folkema dumps it underneath again to Bartkey, and she drops it in for another 2 points. They have been feeding Bartkey underneath, and why not? It's a mismatch down there. Bartkey is the mismatch. This ball going to be knocked out of bounds, they're going to say, by Folkema. Folkema getting in the way that time, almost getting the takeaway, but that one will just go out of bounds and stay with the Wildcats. Thorson inbound to Beaver. Beaver looking, directing traffic, will give it over to Smith. Now Lily Smith drives on the near side. That one nearly poked out again by Diaz. She's bothered by Diaz. Kicks it to Goring at the top of the key. She'll start from the North Branch logo. Now give to Beaver. Beaver finds a lane to the basket. She uses her speed, and that one's going to be in for 2. Again, that's one thing about Claire Beaver. She's got some speed to her, and if she kicks it into gear, there's not a lot of people who can stop her. This pass off the court from Folkema underneath the Lattimore. Trying to get it to Barkey, and it's going to wind up being stolen away by McKenna Thorson. Great job by McKenna Thorson, realizing that one was up for grabs. Now Thorson has it in the front court, driving. Haley Diaz gets the poke, and it is going to stay with the Wildcats as it goes out of bounds. Diaz trying to argue that it was last touched by Thorson, but they do not agree. Meanwhile, checking in now is Lucy Asleason for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, she has been out for a little while as well, so good to see their players back in the lineup healthy. Claire Beaver, meanwhile, being bothered by Diaz. She finally finds a lane to the basket. As she goes up, she's fouled, and she'll now go to the line and shoot 2. It's the 3rd team foul on North Branch. And this is the first on Ella Kuhlman. And Beaver no good on the first. It was almost there, but the roll not being kind. Meanwhile, checking in now for the Vikings, Maria Damiani. Beaver's second one is good. So 1 of 2 there for Beaver to make it 6-4. North Branch still with the lead. Folkema will go up the court to Damiani. Damiani trying to take it inside. Stops, turns around. Kick outside to Folkema at the top of the key. Now to Diaz. Diaz fakes the 3. Will give back to Damiani. She drifts near side. Give to Diaz once again. Diaz trying to get around 2 defenders. She gets around 1. Kicks to Folkema in the far side corner. Folkema spin move back over to Diaz. Diaz now trying to drive inside. Trying to give underneath to Barkey. Barkey gets around 1 defender. Gets around 2. Misses that shot. And the rebound going to be taken by Claire Beaver. Up the other way with it. Going quickly. Stops though on that far side elbow. Give now to Larson. Larson will kick over to the far side corner for Goring. Goring wanted the 3. Instead, she has to pull it down. Nothing to do in that far side corner. It's going to be stolen away by Ella Kuhlman. Kuhlman will bring it forward. She'll slow it down just a little bit. Drift to the far side. She wanted to go for a long 2 instead. Now gives to Damiani. Damiani trying to drive inside. Back out to Kuhlman. The long 3 is off the mark. And Bartkey with the rebound. Shot is no good, but she's fouled, and she'll get to go to the line now and shoot 2. It's the 2nd team foul for Chisago Lakes, and the first on Lucy Asleason. First one is up from Bartkey and no good. Checking in for the Wildcats, Annika Hall, and again, she is back after being out a while, and she gets an ovation as she gets out onto the court. Her teammates happy to see her, and Bartkey misses them both. So no good there, and it's Goring with the rebound. Goring with it now. At the top of the key, waiting, give on the near side to Larson, now to Asleason, and they're going to get her for the travel. So with the travel, that ball will go back to North Branch, and they'll inbound it from the baseline. Folkema looking for Kuhlman on the inbound. Kuhlman will give right back to Folkema as the double team is coming her way. Now they give over to Diaz. Diaz trying to get around 1 defender. Oh, tries to give it up to Damiani. Diaz had a little bit of a lane into the front court, but I think there was a miscommunication on that one. It looked like Damiani maybe should have been further up the court than where she was at on that one. So a miscommunication there will lead to a turnover. The ball will go right back to Chisago Lakes, but now the ball right back to the Vikings on the steal from Kuhlman, and then the dish to Damiani for 2. 8-4, Vikings on top. Back up the other way, Wildcats quickly go and clear Beaver up the court, and the ball is lost, and it's up for grabs. It's tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow favors the Vikings. Back-to-back-to-back turnovers here. Well, we had a score in between. But still, it's inbound now to Damiani on the far side. She had it poked out of her hands, and it will stay with the Vikings. Checking into the game now for North Branch is Ashley Bistadu. Inbound to Kuhlman. Now Kuhlman gives to Folkma on the far side. Kick back outside, Damiani on the far side elbow, and you could have had a travel, but they're going to get a jump ball call, and the possession arrow favors the Wildcats. So, yeah, Damiani lost that one a little bit on the elbow. Great job by the Wildcat defender to tie that one up and get the ball back. Beaver gets the inbound, gives to Annika Hall. Hall gets around one defender, then waits for the offense to get set in the offensive zone. Directing traffic now, she'll give over to Beaver. Beaver over to Goring on the far side. Goring can hit it from long range, so we got to watch out for her. Goring trying to get around Folkma, give in to Beaver now. Beaver trying to get it outside to Hall, and that's going to get a foul called. The fourth team foul on the Vikings. They're going to get this one on Joanna Bartkey, her first. This is just a foul on the floor, so it will be an inbound. Inbound to Asleason. Asleason give inside to Larson. Larson kick on the near side for Beaver for three. It's off the mark. Goring will get the rebound. Now over to Hall, to Beaver. Hall and Beaver were a pretty good connection early in the season. Goring thought about three, side steps, gives back to Hall. Hall to Beaver. Beaver with 8 to shoot. 7, lost her dribble. She's going to have to get this one off soon. Lob at the net. Oh, it rings out, but the rebound. Going to be a jump ball call, and the possession arrow will favor the Vikings. That one was tied up by Bistadu, and I think it was Larson underneath the basket, and wound up being jump ball. Meanwhile, the inbound now to Folkma. Folkma will bring it up the court, give it on the near side to Bistadu for Damiani at the elbow. That's going to miss from long range, and it will go out of bounds and right back to Chisago Lakes. 12:34 to go here in this first half of this Section 7-3A playoff game. Winner moves on to the semifinals on Saturday at 1 p.m. They will either, we'll talk about that in just a moment. Damiani, meanwhile, steals the inbound. Annika Hall wasn't quite ready for it, and Damiani said, all right, well, I'll just take it myself then. And Damiani makes up for that missed three, and they're going to get this one out of bounds. They're going to say last touch by North Branch. And North Branch didn't quite agree with that call. They let it go out and just watch it, but they're going to say it was not, last touched out by North Branch. It went off the forearm. Timeout call by the Wildcats. It's only a 30-second timeout. That will give us a chance to look at that texting interview that I got to do with head coach Joe Lattimore of the North Branch Vikings. One of the other questions I asked him was, short time to do so, but what are some of the things from the regular season you maybe didn't do as well as you thought that you'd like to see the team hone in on? And he said one thing we need to clean up is our turnovers. When we value possessions and make good decisions, we are a really good basketball team. We need to make sure we do a better job of valuing possessions, end quote. Again, appreciate head coach Lattimore for texting me with some answers to the questions that I had. Kind of a texting interview there, but appreciate him doing that. But yeah, one of the things that we've seen already in this game have been turnovers, and I know the you wouldn't quite consider a jump ball a turnover or a travel, but it is, because it gives the ball back to the other team. We're going to get another jump ball, but this time the possession arrow favors the Wildcats. 3 in, 3 out for North Branch. Caitlin Lattimore, Haley Diaz, and Annabelle Lattimore are into the game. So Annabelle Lattimore in the game for the first time here this evening. And the inbound from Beaver goes to Larson. Larson kicks out to Beaver, and that's just too far behind her. Larson got slipped a little bit on that one, then tried to give it off to Beaver before losing possession, but as she did, the ball went well behind and not able to get that one back. Inbound from Kuhlman to Diaz. Diaz gives right back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman will try and get around the defender. Beaver gives up to Lattimore. That's Caitlin Lattimore on the far side, waiting for someone to get open. And we're going to get another tie-up. A jump ball, and the possession arrow this time favors the red and black. Meanwhile, the Vikings wearing their black home uniforms, the white letters and numbers outlined in red, the red stripe down the side of the jersey in short, the red trim on the neck, sleeve, and bottom of the short as well. Checking in for the Wildcats is number 12, that's how you say it, Mariana Cooksley. Inbound here, Kuhlman looking, give on the near side for Diaz. Diaz gives back on the far side to Caitlin Lattimore. Caitlin Lattimore going to try and drive inside. She is fouled. She'll get to go to line and shoot two. Third team foul now on Chisago Lakes. They're going to get this one on Kayla Larson, her first. And again, Caitlin Lattimore to shoot two. First one gets the friendly bounce off the front of the rim, and it will be good for Lattimore. This one's good as well. Caitlin Lattimore drops them both in to make it 12-4. Now it's Beaver with it coming up the court. Give on the near side to Hall. Hall will be double teamed. Give back to Beaver. Beaver on the far side. In the far side corner to Larson for the three. It's no good as Leeson's there for the rebound, and we're going to get a foul, which is the fifth for North Branch. They're going to get this one on Caitlin Lattimore. And overhearing him talk to his team, Lattimore telling his team, hey, nobody's talking. We got to communicate. As Leeson is good on the first. They get 12-5. Checking back into the game is Thorson. And as Leeson good on both, even despite the fans trying to distract her. 12-6. Now the score. Kuhlman looking. She'll throw it up the court. Finds Caitlin Lattimore all alone, and she waits for the offense to get up with her, then gives back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to get her around the defender. Thorson back over to Diaz. Diaz now to Annabelle Lattimore. Back to Diaz. Wanted Kuhlman. Nothing doing that time. Diaz going to drive baseline. She stepped back. Short two is good. Nice job by Haley Diaz, recognizing she had the advantage over the defender, and the step back two is good. Up the court now as Leeson give back to Beaver on this near side. That's Thorson all over to Beaver. Beaver on the far side, waiting for her team to get set up in the right offensive play. On the far side corner with it is Hall. Got a Thorson. Thorson driving in. Give underneath to Cooksley. She lost it. Ball's up for grabs. Cooksley somehow got it back, but it's going to be a travel call. Folkemo will check back in for the Vikings for Bartkey, and Lily Smith back in for Annika Hall. So the Vikings get it back, and Diaz back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman all the way up the court. Annabelle Lattimore wide open underneath the basket, but maybe too strong on that shot. And the rebound by Claire Beaver, and she's fouled again. It's going to be the sixth team foul now on North Branch. They're going to get Folkema her second. 10:22 to go. Vikings lead 14-6 on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard in this first half of the Section 7-3A playoff game. Lily Smith nearly crossed that timeline and went back over, but she did a good job keeping her feet across on the right side of it. Now the pass inside, going to be stolen away by Bella Folkema. She says, give me that back. Up the court they go to Caitlin Lattimore, but it's stolen away by Claire Beaver, and I don't think she meant to, but Caitlin Lattimore slightly tackled Claire Beaver to the floor. And that will be Caitlin Lattimore's second, team seventh. So now Claire Beaver gets to go to line to shoot a 1-and-1. Madison Eagle will check in now for Chisago. Again, Claire Beaver to shoot a 1-and-1. First one is up and good. It's 14-7 now. Damiani checks in for Caitlin Lattimore. Beaver gets the friendly bounce off the front of the rim, and that one is good. So 14-8 now is the score. Vikings still lead. The pass up the court here to Annabelle Lattimore. Gets through her hands. The defender a little too close for comfort on that one. Distracted her just a tad, and that allowed it to go through her hands. Bartkey will check into the game for Annabelle Lattimore. 5:57 to go. Inbound to Beaver. And Claire Beaver will give it over now to Smith. Lily Smith back to Beaver. Beaver looking, trying to drive now on Diaz. Gives now to Smith. Smith inside, she traveled. As she stopped, she that back foot kind of picked up and eked forward, so the ball will go back to North Branch. Kuhlman with it off the inbound from Folkema. Kuhlman getting around the one defender, taking it all the way herself, coast to coast, but gives back to Bartkey. Bartkey from just outside the paint, shot is no good, and Cooksley with a nice looking rebound there. Give to Smith now. Another travel from Smith, and I thought maybe she had taken that step and then dribble, but she did not, the refs say, and now the ball again back to North Branch. Folkema looking, give to Kuhlman on the inbound. Beaver was right there, but Kuhlman strong on that one, and we're going to get another jump ball. That one is tied up by Lily Smith, and another jump ball. The possession arrow again will favor Chisago Lakes, so turnovers. We talked about it with Lattimore over text anyways, and just they have been a problem, and it's only 14-8 right now, and you just got to, you feel like if you cut these turnovers even in half, this game looks a lot better. Now the give inbound to Thorson, give back to Larson. Now Larson going to try to get around Diaz. Diaz says absolutely not, shutting the door on that. Larson will have to give now to Goring. She wanted three, but Kuhlman got right in her face as she went for it. Now back over to Larson on the far side. Larson give on the far side to Goring, and knocked out of bounds by Damiani, and it will stay with the Wildcats. We'll get a timeout now called by the Vikings. That is a full timeout, so we'll take commercial break.
Baseball and softball coaches, are you looking for dry, warm practice time?
Here's the Pitch in North Branch can help. Here's the Pitch offers amazing indoor options for your team.
Offering state-of-the-art pitching machines and batting cages.
And space for you to give instruction without worrying about the weather outside.
Take your athletes to the next level.
Coach up your team during every season or off-season. Affordable practice space for your ball teams.
Make your reservation today.
Call Here's the Pitch today or visit them on Facebook.
Here's the Pitch in North Branch.
At Burnett Dairy Cooperative, we're more than just your local dairy. We're also a trusted propane provider, serving homes, farms, and businesses across northwestern Wisconsin and east central Minnesota. Whether you need a tank installed or reliable delivery, we're here for you 365 days a year with flexible options that fit your needs. As a farmer-owned cooperative, we're committed to supporting our community because your home and farm deserve the best. Call 715-689-1032 to learn more. Burnett Dairy Propane, serving you with pride every day of the year.
I want to thank all of our fine sponsors who sponsored every single broadcast that we did during the regular season and now during the postseason. We appreciate them. Of course, if it wasn't for our sponsors, well, we don't get to come out and call any of these games. So if you stop into any of the fine sponsors that you hear, or maybe you're passing them by, be sure to give them a go in and tell them thank you. Thank you for sponsoring us. That way we're able to come out here and broadcast and bring these games to you. Chisago Lakes out of the timeout. We'll get the ball back, and Larson tried to give in to Eagle, and that one's going to go out of bounds off of Eagle's foot, and it will go back to the Vikings. Again, turnovers have been a huge talking point. I feel like Donald Trump when I say that. Huge. They've been a huge talking point this first half. All right, I'm done. But North Branch will get the ball back, and again, the turnovers have really caused problems for either team to get into a rhythm. Meanwhile, Kuhlman gives inside to Folkema. Folkema through all sorts of traffic, drops that one in, and now has a chance at the and one. Beautiful feed from Kuhlman to Folkema inside. That's a great awareness by Kuhlman to realize Folkema was open, and then Folkema, fearless underneath the basket, is able to drop that one in. Madison Eagle, the guilty Wildcat. And Folkema's shot is up, no good, but Bartkey is there for the rebound. So it'll be 2 for Folkema. And then the foul on Chisago Lakes on the Bartkey rebound. It will be on Goring, her first, team's 5th. And another inbound for North Branch. So even though they got the rebound, they'll get to inbound once again and basically reset this possession for themselves. Diaz drives inside, kick outside, Damiani for 3, no good. Kuhlman out of nowhere gets the rebound. She'll take it outside, reset things. Looks on the far side, Damiani nearing the basket, struggling to find anywhere to go with it. Wanted to go to Kuhlman, and as she went back out of the paint, she traveled, so now the ball will go back to Chisago Lakes. That's unfortunate because, again, basically North Branch got 2 possessions in 1 there, including an extra foul on Chisago Lakes, and unfortunately can't take advantage of it. 16-8 is our score after the 2 from Folkema. And now Goring is going to get called for the travel, and she's really upset on that call. She smacks the ball and frustrated. I don't know if she's frustrated on the call or with herself, but there's some frustration out there shown by both of these teams right now. And Kuhlman will give it to Diaz as she crosses the timeline. Now Kuhlman has it back. Give the Damiani in the far side corner. Thought she could have had a chance at 3. Instead, we'll hold on to it. Try to go inside to Folkema, just over her head, and ball will go out of bounds, and another turnover. This will give the ball back to Chisago Lakes. 7:56 to go in the first half on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard in this Section 7-3A playoff game. Beaver gets the inbound, then we'll give it back to Thorson. Thorson gets around Diaz for a moment, but Diaz catches back up. Now they give outside to Larson. Back up top the key to Beaver on the near side. Goring has been trying to get open from 3. She tries to drive inside. That one was knocked out by Damiani. Somehow Goring got it back, and now she'll lose it, and this is going to be knocked out by Bartkey. Bartkey almost pulled it in, but unfortunately just knocked it out. Ball will stay with the Wildcats. Looks like we've got Madison Eagle, who has to leave the court with some blood. Hopefully she's all right. Pray and hope that she's all right. Meanwhile, as Leeson will check into the game, as will Kara Hall for the first time here this evening. Hall will look to inbound, looking. Will lob it in, trying to get it to Thorson, but it's stolen away by Damiani. Her second of the evening. Damiani takes it inside, lost it, but Kuhlman is there behind her to get that one. And the long 2 is just off the mark. Folkema with a big rebound. Kick outside, Kuhlman a long 3, good! Ella Kuhlman from Cambridge Isani gets that one to fall. And now Diaz is going to tie up yet another ball for a jump ball. Then the possession arrow favors the Vikings. Annabelle Lattimore, Ashley Bistadu check in the game for Folkema and Damiani. If I didn't mention it, Wildcats wearing their white away uniforms. The forest green letters and numbers outlined in the gold. The green stripe down the side of the jersey. The trim on the neck and sleeves is green as well. Bistadu with it on the pass from Diaz. Hands back to Annabelle Lattimore. Annabelle will give now to Diaz. Diaz looking, finds a lane to the basket, and this one's blocked by Goring, but it's taken right back by Diaz. She says, well, you can block it, but I'm going to get it back anyways. This shot is up and no good. It's going to go back to the Wildcats as it hits out of bounds. Diaz, I hope no one takes this offensively because I don't mean it that way, but she's like a Tasmanian devil out there. Not the tallest young lady on the court, but man, she has got a lot of energy. She plays with it. She plays aggressive. And just when you think she's gone out of the play, she's right back in. I mean, she is so fun to watch her play. Meanwhile, we get a double dribble on Chisago Lakes. So now another turnover. Give the ball back to the Vikings. Inbound to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to get around one. She's going to be double teamed. She'll give it up to Diaz. Now Diaz crosses the timeline. She has Kuhlman next to her, but she gets a screen from Bartkey. Give to Bistadu on the far side. Bistadu pulls it down. Give to Diaz. She gets a screen. Now over to Annabelle Lattimore. Kick back to Diaz. Diaz give to Bistadu. Trying to go inside to Bartkey. It was, tipped, and it will go and stay with the Vikings. Yeah. So after a quick think over from that ref, it is going to be Vikings ball. It was tipped out of bounds by Chisago Lakes. And Bistadu will look to inbound. She missed Bartkey on the open for a moment, so that one's going to be tipped and stolen away by Larson. Now Larson trying to go coast to coast with it. She's got to slow things down, give out to Annika Hall for three! Annika Hall, so good to see her get a shot like that. Again, after having been out for a majority of the season with an injury, nice to see her get that shot. 19-11 under 6 minutes to go. Ella Kuhlman drive to the basket, no good, but there's her teammate Joanna Bartkey with another big rebound and drops it in for two. It's a 10-point lead now for the Vikings, 21-11. Larson with it on that far side, directing traffic, trying to get around Bistadu, nothing doing. She looks, she'll try to give it to Goring, and Bartkey, you need to call for a hold there on that one. Yeah, that's the correct call, even though you don't want it, so Goring will go to line for a 1-and-1. So Bartkey will get her second, team's eighth. And again, it's Goring at the line for 1-and-1. Checking in now for the Wildcats is number 14, Annika Smith. Claire Beaver will also check back in. This is as deep as the Wildcats have gone all season. I think they went 9 maybe in the last game that I called for them, but they have never gone 11. But this is pretty cool to see that they're able to go 11. This is just showing their growth and plus their health. Meanwhile, Goring hits the first one to make it 21-12. And the second one is good as well. Goring good on both. Make it 21-13. Quick sub in. Bistadu in for Bartkey. 21-13, 5:29 to go in the first half of this Section 7-3A playoff game. Stolen away on the inbound by Larson. A three from Claire Beaver is going to be no good. It's off the mark and then rebounded by Annika Hall. Goring has it. She's been trying to find an open shot all night, just hasn't been able to. And now Beaver has it. I thought she could have taken that extra long three. She decides against it. Now we'll try and drive. This one's going to be knocked and stolen away by Kuhlman. She dumped over Diaz as Kuhlman gets that one to drop in for two. She tripped over Diaz. No foul was called, and that's the correct call. And then it was stolen away by Kuhlman, who took it coast to coast, and she dropped it in for two. Now back the other way. The Wildcats draw yet another foul here on the Vikings. It's their team's 9th. And that's going to go and be Folkema's 3rd. So in some foul trouble. Now at the line is Larson for 2. That one's no good. Ronna Bartkey will check into the game for Folkema. Meanwhile, Annabelle Lattimore out there along with Bistadu, Diaz, and Kuhlman. Gonna get a lane violation there. So it won't matter. She'll get 0 there, right? Meanwhile, Diaz brings it up the court. It was stolen away by Annika Hall, but for a moment, and now she stepped on the sideline, and it will go out of bounds. So the Vikings will catch a break there. The inbound now to Annabelle Lattimore on the near side. Ella Kuhlman gets a screen. Will take that sidestep three. That well-known sidestep three for Kuhlman. And now the pass from Beaver to Hall. Little bit of miscommunication between those two, and that's bound to happen when you've had a player who's been out for as long as Hall has. But we'll get a timeout called now by, I didn't see by who. We'll get a timeout as well. Back after word from our fine sponsors.
Aurelius Manufacturing has been providing innovative solutions to customers since 1926. Specializing in the production of custom welded hydraulic cylinders for over 40 years, our focus is on providing value to customers through innovative problem solving, quality workmanship, and customer service. Our team works with your team to develop designs that provide the most value for your application. We leverage technology and craftsmanship, turning designs into finished products quickly and accurately.
Back here on KBK 95.5 FM. Continuing on with the interview through text that I had with head coach Joe Lattimore. Another thing I asked him was, he's playing a familiar opponent tonight. How do you make sure the team doesn't overlook Chisago or play below what they're capable of? And he said, quote, playing in a conference opponent is never an easy task. We know each other really well and know each other's tendencies. Our girls understand that Chisago is a tough opponent. They play a style that keeps them in every game. We also remember our game at their place last year where they had a great second half and had a come-from-behind victory, end quote. So they're certainly not trying to give this one up, trying to win at home, trying to get some revenge here. Oh, they beat them during the regular season, but this is when it counts. Regular season's great and all, and yes, you play well during the regular season to try and help your seeding and your section standings, but this is where it all matters. Meanwhile, up the court, Kuhlman gives to Diaz. Now inside to Kuhlman, back out to Diaz for three. It's good! Haley Diaz for a three, and all of a sudden now this Viking offense seems to be clicking. 29-13, 4 minutes to go in the half. Claire Beaver with it in the front court for Chisago Lakes. She looks, trying to call out the offense, gives to Goring. Goring going to take the shot over the defender. Oh, just off the mark. And guess who gets the ball? It's Haley Diaz. She gives now to Kuhlman. Kuhlman is going to be double teamed. That one nearly stolen away by Annika Hall. Instead, we're going to get a jump ball, and the possession arrow is favoring the Wildcats. Great job by Annika Hall. Pit-pocketed Kuhlman there. I can't say enough about being able to see Annika Hall back from the injury she had that kept her out for a good chunk of the season. You'd be surprised what that does for a athlete's confidence to be out that long. Meanwhile, inbound to Annika Hall, and it is blocked and stolen away by Bartkey on her shot. Kuhlman from long range once again drains it. Ella Kuhlman is feeling it, 32-13 now. From the Northtown Mall, she hits that one. I know Northtown Mall is in Blaine, but that's how far away it was. I mean, that one was from downtown. Impressive. Now another tie-up in the Wildcat zone will get a jump ball back to the Vikings. Inbound to Kuhlman. Now gives to Diaz. She'll lob it over to Bistadu, on the near side. She'll give to Diaz. Diaz wanted to go to Kuhlman, but Kuhlman guarded a little too well. Diaz had a chance. Now she'll drive inside. Oh, no. Diaz is down, and she's hurt. Oh, no. She's in a lot of pain. We'll take a timeout.
Physical therapy. It's one of those services you don't think about until you need it. Pain happens. Count on the team at Physical Therapy Consultants to help. Physical Therapy Consultants, with locations in North Branch, Isanti, Zimmerman, St. Francis, Andover, and Ham Lake, accept all insurance plans, workers' comp, and auto. Their expertise can help you and your body repair. Find out how Physical Therapy Consultants can help you heal. Call 1-888-THERAPY today. 1-888-THERAPY for Physical Therapy Consultants.
We're proud to support local athletes during the playoffs. Whether you're an athlete or a fan, Wellia Health is here to help keep you performing at your best. For all your sports medicine needs, visit us at Wellia Health online to learn more.
Well, never, ever want to see injuries happen in any game. Doesn't matter what sport it is, doesn't matter the player or the team. Oh, that is so unfortunate for Diaz. I'm not going to speculate. I thought I maybe seen what she said, because as she went to the floor, she had said what I thought. If my reading lips was correct, it's out. I thought she said that. It's out, it's out, it's out. I don't want to speculate, so that's all I'm going to say about it. Meanwhile, a shot on the other side for the Wildcats is no good, rebounded by Bartkey. She immediately went back to the locker room, so I hope and pray that Haley Diaz is all right. Meanwhile, Ella Kuhlman, she is, again, as I mentioned, on fire. She comes back up the other way and hits a short 2. Beaver tries to give inside to Larson underneath. I think that was one too many passes there from Chisago Lakes. Beaver, I think she could have taken the shot. She was underneath the basket herself, had some good space in between her and the defender. And, I thought maybe that she could have had the shot herself, but maybe one too many passes. Meanwhile, now Bistadu will give up the court to Damiani. Damiani lost it. She lost that one and got through her hands, but just getting the timeout in time was Joe Lattimore. We'll keep it here. And again, we'll get that final question that I was able to ask him in our interview, and that was, what's something you want to see from your team early on tonight to set the tone? He said, quote, we need to start the game with great energy and focus. I'm looking for how we are able to come out and attack on both offense and defense. He said this will be a great matchup in the first round. Two teams separated by 14 miles playing in the opening round should be a great atmosphere. We are ready and looking forward to the opportunity, end quote. Again, I appreciate Joe Lattimore taking time to message me about that and message me that interview. Again, I just, my schedule's been so messed up lately. I haven't had a chance to call these coaches, which they are so flexible and do a great job of making time for me. I can't say enough about the local area coaches that we get to work with. It's just it's really an honor to get to work with these players and coaches and call these games. Meanwhile, Annabelle Lattimore on the near sideline will inbound. She gives to Bistadu. Bistadu now to Kuhlman. Kuhlman looking to get around the defender. Let's see what she does here. Gives over to Damiani. Damiani looks at the hoop, circles back around on the drive, gives to Kuhlman. She wanted that extra long three again. Kuhlman gets around one defender, but she's double teamed. Now give to Bistadu. Bistadu tries to drive baseline. Gives to Annabelle Lattimore, and that one's a little too high. Rebound for Goring, and it will be the 10th team foul on North Branch. And I think this one, is this Bartkey or Bistadu it's going to be called on. Her first, and again, the team's 10th. But Goring is now at the line to shoot 2. Goring can't quite get the roll on the first one. This one's up and good. So 1 of 2 there for Goring. Make it 34-14. And now as the inbound from Damiani, or to Damiani, she traveled before getting that ball off to Bistadu, and the ball will go right back to the Wildcats. 1:48 to go, 34-14. North Branch with the lead in this first half. Claire Beaver will get set to inbound for the Wildcats. Inbound to Goring. They want to set her up for a 3. That ball is blocked by Damiani and stolen away by Bistadu. Kuhlman getting around one defender. Kick now to Bistadu. Bistadu giving near side to Damiani. Damiani, nothing doing there. Now to Bistadu. Damiani again. She'll have to wait just a little bit. There's nothing going inside for North Branch right now. And as Damiani takes it inside, the shot no good, but she's fouled. Now she'll go to line and shoot 2. I think they got 14. Annika Smith is the guilty Wildcat for her first team 6th. Meanwhile, Damiani hits the first. And she hits them both. So Maria Damiani hits both free throws to make it 36-14. Under a minute and a half to go. Larson with it up the court for the Wildcats. They waste no time getting to their offensive zone, but now struggling to get the play call set up. Give to Goring at the top of the key. Now to Thorson. Thorson going to try and drive past Bistadu. Now the give here. Oh, could have had a foul, but it's going to be stolen away by Bistadu. Bistadu give to Kuhlman. She puts it to the basket. Shot is up, no good. And the rebound there for Claire Beaver. Beaver will kick on the far side here. Now going underneath to Larson. Larson in some trouble. We're going to get a jump ball. The possession arrow is pointing the way of the Wildcats. Bistadu in there underneath to draw that jump ball, as was Bartkey. Bartkey stopped the drive from Larson, and then Bisidou got her hands around the ball for the jump. 47 seconds to go. Goring on that far side. They've been trying to get her open for three. They know she can hit it from long range. Meanwhile, this one is going to be no good. Rebounded by Damiani. Now the give. Nope, she's going to keep it herself. And that one's going to be poked out. And nearly stolen away. Goring nearly had it. Then Damiani got it back. Then Claire Beaver tied it up with Damiani. It's another jump ball in the possession arrow. This time is pointing the way of the Vikings. 33 seconds to go. 28 seconds on that shot clock. Inbound to Bartkey right underneath the basket. Shot's no good, but she's fouled. She gets to go to the line to shoot two. And now the 7th team foul for Chisago Lakes. And the 2nd on Annika Smith. Bartkey hits that one for her 9th point of this first half. And both of them. She hits both of them. And Bartkey hits them both 38-14. 10 points for her now. Checking into the game and getting a near standing ovation is number 10, Charlene Garcia Velasquez. Meanwhile, Wildcats have it back in their offensive zone, moving the ball around. Annika Smith drives inside, kick back outside to Claire Beaver. Beaver has to pull it down. Will they go for the final shot of the half, or will they just try and get an open shot? We'll have to wait and see. Looks like the final shot. Thorson directing traffic. Larson with it now, trying to drive, and she has Goring. Goring open on the far side. Elbow for a three, no good. It did hit the shot clock, so that is out of bounds. The ball will go back to the Vikings. They've got 2 seconds to inbound, and unfortunately, they did get it in to Kuhlman, but there was nothing doing on that. So that's going to bring us to halftime here in North Branch. The Vikings lead over the Wildcats 38-14 and are trying to punch their ticket to the semifinals. So at the half, it is the Wildcats trailing, and the Vikings took advantage here late in this half of some turnovers, and Ella Kuhlman caught a little bit of fire, and she started to get this team going in the right direction. 38-14 at the half. We'll take a commercial break here. We're from our fine sponsors. Then we'll be back to recap the half. You're listening to Girls Playoff Basketball here on Nice 95.5 FM KBEK.
Whoa! Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City and start saving. Right now, grab a Meat Lover's burrito or new Ranchero beef and cheese burrito. I want one right now. Wash it down with everyone's favorite Celsius, buy one, get one free. And Holiday still has the $3, $4, $5 meal deals on some of your favorite items. Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store and save. Open 24/7, 365. The Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
Free college is possible at Pine Technical and Community College. Students of all ages may be eligible for a tuition and fee-free pathway to education thanks to the new North Star Promise Scholarship. If you're a resident of Minnesota and have a family-adjusted gross income of $80,000 or less, apply online today for free and join us in high-demand programs such as nursing, gunsmithing, machining, automated systems, cybersecurity, early childhood education, liberal arts, and more. Whether you're starting out or starting over, learn more at pine.edu.
And here's the pitch.
Here's the pitch, the premier indoor batting cages in North Branch. Whether you're trying to make the team or take the team to the next level, Here's the Pitch has state-of-the-art pitching machines for both baseball and fast-pitch softball. $35 gets you cage time with your own pitcher. $40 gets you cage time using one of their top-tier pitching machines. Screens, plates, helmets, they've got the equipment, you provide the batter. Find Here's the Pitch on Facebook or visit here'sthepitchmn.com. Here'sthepitchmn.com.
Brad here from Lee's Pro Shop in Pine City. We're a full-service lettering shop with a full line of athletic supplies for any sport. We have professional staff here at Lee's Pro Shop to customize your orders. We are the pros who specialize in athletic apparel and equipment. We even do trophies and awards as well as computerized engraving in the store. Let Lee's Pro Shop help you with any athletic apparel. Lee's Pro Shop, servicing our communities since 1973, where the passion for sports begins.
A Lennox air source heat pump is a high-efficiency air conditioning unit that can also heat your home or business during the spring and fall. It's more economical than heating with propane. Have Dale's Heating and Appliance install your Lennox air source heat pump. Ask Dale's how you can receive up to $1,000 in rebates for your air source heat pump system. And ductless mini splits also qualify for up to $1,000. Visit dalesheatingandappliance.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
At the half, it is the North Branch Vikings leading over the Wildcats 38-14. Taking a look at some of our first half stats. The Wildcats were led in scoring by Claire Beaver with 5. Both Rayanne Goring and Annika Hall had 3 in different ways. 2 for Lucy Asleason and then 1 for McKenna Thorson. Rebounding, Goring led them with 4. They had 5 steals. 1 block came from Goring, and then they were 7 of 13 from the free throw line and had 7 team fouls. On the other side, the Vikings were led in scoring by Ella Kuhlman with 13, 10 for Joanna Bartkey, then 6 for Maria Damiani, 5 for Haley Diaz, 2 for both Caitlin Lattimore and Bella Folkema. Rebound-wise, Bartkey led them with 4. They had 11 steals, 3 blocks, 2 from Bartkey and 1 from Damiani. They were 6 of 8 from the free throw line and had 10 team fouls. Getting in a little bit of foul trouble there in that first half, and also was Folkema with 3. So that'll be something that we have to watch out for here in the second half. But pretty good from the free throw line. They had 3 blocks, 11 steals. But again, like we had heard in my texting interview with head coach Joe Lattimore, the turnovers. Turnovers really didn't allow anyone in that first half to get into any sort of a rhythm. It really interrupted all sense of anything trying to get into rhythm for either side. I mean, the turnovers were there, and unfortunately, there were a lot of them early on, and then as we got later into the half, these turnovers slowly started to dissipate, and as those started to dissipate, you could see the Vikings offense really start to take over. Their offense really started to move smoothly, and it started to look good. It started to look like Vikings offense. Kuhlman got going in the final, 5-6 minutes. She had 11 of her 13 points. She had 3 up to that point and then hit 2 deep three-pointers. And again, 11 of 13 in the last 5 minutes. She really got that offense going. But Bartkey kind of started the offense for this team. She had, I think, 8 points for the Vikings in the first 5-6 minutes of the half. So a really good offensive performance here for the Vikings in that first half, albeit after some turnover problems and some trouble in that department. But again, they were able to clear that up, get things corrected, and really get offense going. So hopefully they can continue that here in the second half. But for the Wildcats, again, they unfortunately on their side, they're dealing with a really good defense. Chisago Lake's defense is pretty good themselves, but the Wildcats right now are just struggling a little bit to get around the Vikings defense. There have been times for the Wildcats where it has looked like they have had a shot, maybe from a little bit longer range than what they want to shoot right now. But I think if you're the Wildcats, I think right now you're going to have to start taking some of those shots that you may not be as comfortable with right now. The shots that are from a little bit deeper outside. And maybe with the players, you may not want to be shooting those long-range shots. You just got to, I think at this point, try and get off any opportunities for points that you can. We've seen Claire Beaver with plenty of opportunities from 3, and again, she's had a defender near her, but I thought they've I won't say wasted because they have scored, but I thought they have, I can't think of the right word, but they've left some points out there because of the fact that they have decided not to take some shots because, maybe it's a play call, but I just feel like they're leaving some points out there because they're not taking some of these contested shots. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to drive inside to open up Goring from outside to try and get some points back for their team quickly. That's just not an option at this point. North Branch is doing so well at not allowing Chisago Lakes to get inside. So I think for Chisago Lakes, you gotta take every opportunity to score and to get points that you can right now. And whether it's outside, inside, I think you're going to have to be okay with, hey, if it's a mid-range, if you're open from long range, if you're right underneath the basket, go ahead and take the shot because we just need to get points right now. Obviously, there's no 24-point play or point play in the game of basketball. So for Chisago Lakes, it's going to have to be one at a time, one possession at a time. And defensively, they've made some good stands. So defensively, I don't know if there's much to change. Obviously, don't allow Kuhlman to shoot from deep. But for the Wildcats, again, I think they're just going to have to start shooting the ball a little bit more than what they have and count on the offense to crash the offensive glass a little bit more. We're going to take one more commercial break before we head back for the second half of action here on Nice 95.5 FM KBEK in Section 7-3A Girls Playoffs.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden french fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W root beer freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
Whoa! Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City and start saving. Right now, grab a Meat Lover's burrito or new Ranchero beef and cheese burrito. I want one right now. Wash it down with everyone's favorite Celsius, buy one, get one free. And Holiday still has the $3, $4, $5 meal deals on some of your favorite items. Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store and save. Open 24/7, 365. The Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City.
Back here on Nice 95.5 FM KBEK. Second half of action about to get started as both teams make their way back out onto the court. 18 minutes are back up on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Wildcats will start with the ball here in the second half. They'll go left to right on your radio dial. Vikings right to left. Lily Smith will inbound to Beaver. And Beaver will give right back to Lily Smith in the offensive zone. Smith trying to get around Kuhlman. Now give to Thorson. Thorson on top of the key. Give to Beaver. Beaver trying to get around the defender, but she has to wait. Now he's going to try and drive inside. Spin move back around. Looks to the near side. Give to Thorson for three. That's just off the mark. I like that play. Just missing, and Bartkey with the rebound. Now back up the other way come the Vikings. Kuhlman with it, gives here to Bistadu. She nearly lost it. Great job getting that one back. Now give to Kuhlman another long three. That one's going to be off the mark, though. Bartkey with another rebound. Kick back outside Kuhlman. She thought about that long three. Instead finds that lane right to the basket and drops it in for two. Well, you give her any little bit of a crease, and she's going to take advantage of it. She does there, 40-14. The Vikings score first here in the second half. Larson with the ball now. Give on the near side to Smith. Smith will hand it off now to Goring on the far side. Goring from the elbow, three. Oh, just off the mark. Good look for Goring, just off the mark on that shot. So the ball will go back to the Vikings. Trying to lob it inside to Bartkey. Maybe an ill-advised pass there as Lily Smith is going to step in the way of that one to get the steal. She's going to hand it now to Beaver. Beaver now to Larson. Larson inside. That one's going to drop in for two. Good shot there by Kayla Larson inside. And again, as I mentioned, for the Wildcats, I think they're just going to have to start taking shots that maybe they weren't comfortable with so much in the first half, and they're just going to have to take some of those. This ball is going to be poked out by Claire Beaver, but they're going to say last touch by Bistadu, so the ball will go back to the Wildcats. Inbound now to Beaver as Beaver starts in the backcourt, will bring it forward. She looks, gives to Lily Smith. On that far side goes to Goring, wanting to go inside to Larson. They're going to get a push here, and that might be on Fulcum, which would be her fourth. Yeah, unfortunately, that is her fourth. And with that, she's going to unfortunately take a seat for a chunk of time. Annabelle Lattimore will check in for Fulcum. Inbound to Thorson. Now to Smith to Beaver. Inside to Larson. Now Thorson. Thorson shot no good. Rebounded by Bartkey. Now to Kuhlman. Kuhlman on the far side, showing off those ball handling skills, gives to Bistadu. Bistadu may have picked her dribble up at the wrong time. She'll hand back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman found a lane again to the basket. Instead, we'll dump it underneath to Annabelle Lattimore. She is slapped on the hand. And now we'll go to line to shoot two. I think they're going to get the first on Chisago Lakes and on Claire Beaver. Yes, it is the first for Claire Beaver. That one's up and good for Annabelle Lattimore. And Annabelle Lattimore, no good on the second. So 1 of 2 there for Annabelle Lattimore, and then the shot miss is rebounded by Thorson. She'll give over to Beaver as she reaches the front court. Now over to Goring. Goring on the far side. Gives back to Beaver. Looking now to Thorson. Thorson waiting, give to Goring. Oh, if Goring would have had a quicker turnaround, an easier shot, but she drops it in anyways from the free throw line. Make it 41-18. Yeah, again, I think they're just going to have to take the open opportunities that the North Branch Vikings give them. Now on the far side, Caitlin Lattimore gets a pass from Kuhlman. She'll get back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to drive inside. She takes it just inside the three-point line and drops it in for 2. And as her team goes back the other way, she drops that one in and makes it look pretty. As now we're going to travel on Lily Smith. Lily Smith trying to drive near side, had a teammate open in Beaver, but just didn't dribble that ball in time, and it'll be another turnover for the Wildcats. The ball will go back to the Vikings. Get a couple of subs here for Chisago Lakes. It's Mariana Cooksley to check in the game, as is Annika Hall. Now bringing it up the court is Bistadu off the inbound. She picks up the dribble, gives to Kuhlman. Kuhlman at the North Branch logo, gets a screen from Bartkey. Wanted to go back to Bartkey, but the defense was guarding her really well. Now to Annabelle Lattimore. Top of the key, give to Kuhlman. Kuhlman wanted another long three, gets a screen from Annabelle Lattimore. On the near side, sidestep three. Well, it hit the net, but it wrong side of the net, and now it's going to go out of bounds, and we'll go back to the Wildcats, 43-18. Inbound now to Claire Beaver. Beaver will bring it up the court with 14 and a half minutes to go here in the game. 43-18, Vikings with the lead. Beaver looking, giving it over now to Larson. Now to Cooksley. Cooksley at the free throw line, trying to get around Bartkey, and she does. And Cooksley gets her first points on the night. Make it 43-20. Inbound from Kuhlman, gives it up to Caitlin Lattimore. Now back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to find a little bit of space between her and the defender. Kuhlman gets around one, gets around two, gives inside to Caitlin Lattimore. The shot is up, no good, but she's fouled, and she'll get to go to line now and shoot 2. Second team foul on the Wildcats, the first on Annika Hall. First one up by Caitlin Lattimore, bounces in. Make it 44-20. This one no good, and it'll be Cooksley with the rebound, so 1 of 2 there for Lattimore. Larson with it on that far side, holding on to it. Wanted to go to Cooksley, but she was guarded well by Bistoon, so we'll give it on the far side to Goring. Goring trying to get around Annabelle Lattimore. Sidestep 3 for herself, and that one's going to be no good. Ella Kuhlman will get the rebound for North Branch. She'll take it up on that far sideline. Waits. Guarded by Larson. Gets around Larson. Gets a screen from Bartkey. Goes inside to Caitlin Lattimore, and she drops it in for 2. They said, yeah, we know Bartkey can do it down below, but we're going to show you that Caitlin Lattimore can as well. Showing off the versatility of this offense. And showing the Bartkey can kind of set those screens and allow Lattimore some open shots underneath. Larson with it, drive, stop, start again on Annabelle Lattimore. That long reach from Kayla Larson is able to drop that one in for two to make it 46-22. Back up the other way with it is Bartkey. Bartkey underneath the basket is going to be fouled, and now she'll get to go to the line and shoot two. It'll be the third team foul on the Wildcats and the second on Goring. First one is up and good by Bartkey. 47-22. Lucy Asleason will check in for Goring. And Damiani will check in for Bistadu. And also checking in is Ara Hall for Beaver. And Bartkey's second one is no good. Going to be rebounded there by Larson, so 1 of 2 for the Vikings. Hall gives it near side to Cara Hall. Cara Hall gets around one, gives it to Goring, and that shot going to come up short. No, excuse me, that's Asleason. Late whistle there. We're going to get a foul. I think that's the correct call, though. Second team foul on the Vikings here in this half. It is going to be the first on Damiani. And Asleason will shoot two. That one's no good. And Asleason will hit the second one. So 1 of 2 there. And it's 47-23. Inbound to Kuhlman, being guarded by Asleason. Now give on the far side to Caitlin Lattimore. Thought about giving it back to Kuhlman. Instead, she'll take it up the court herself. Lattimore on the far side wants to go to Beaver, or excuse me, to Bartkey. Bartkey has it now to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to get around Annika Hall. The shot just off the mark, and it's going to be a rebound for Larson. Larson give to Hall, now over to Cara Hall. Annika and Cara pass between themselves. Larson with it, trying to drive inside, finds a lane. That one's going to be blocked by Bartkey, her third of the night. Bartkey with another block, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds, so we'll stay with the Wildcats. Larson will get set to inbound. 12 minutes to go. Larson finds Cooksley on the inbound. Now on that far side, Annika Hall for a three. Gets a standing ovation from her bench. Makes it 47-26. And again, she was out most of the season, so to see her be able to get on the board like she has is really nice to see her get back into the game. Oh, this pass from Damiani right into the hands of Larson. She tries to go all the way. The hook shot going to be no good. And who's just going to go out of bounds off of there and say the Wildcats, so the Vikings will get it back. 47-26, 11:33 to go. Madison Eagle will check into the game for Larson. Larson will catch a break, a well-deserved break. Well, Caitlin Lattimore inbound to Kuhlman. Now to Damiani. Damiani on this near side into the offensive zone, trying to get around Hall. Hall now give to Lattimore. Lattimore look for a screen from Bartkey, trying to get the pass to Bartkey inside. That one's going to be blocked and taken by Madison Eagle. And now giving it over to Cara Hall on the near side. Now to Cooksley. A long two is good for Mariana Cooksley. 47-28. And the Wildcats have all of a sudden shifted momentum in their hands a little bit. Caitlin Lattimore will bring it up the court. Kick back to Bartkey. Now over to Damiani on the near side. Trying to drive just inside. Wants Kuhlman. Nothing doing there. And the pass. Trying to get it to Annabelle Lattimore. A little bit of miscommunication there. Annabelle Lattimore cut to the basket while the pass went just behind her. And it will be Caitlin Lattimore. Out in is Ashley Bistadu. With it is Annika Hall. Give now on the near side to Cara Hall. She'll give it over to Asleason. Asleason. Oh, that one's going to be a turnover. The pass for Cara Hall went well behind her and no chance to go and get that one. And the Vikings will have it back. 10:36 to go in the game. Vikings lead by 19. Annabelle Lattimore will inbound. Looking, she'll go into the front court now to Bistadu. Bistadu will give over to Lattimore. Lattimore to Damiani. The three just off the mark, and it will go out of bounds and back to the Wildcats. A good open look for Damiani, just unable to convert that one into three. Lily Smith is checking in for Cooksley on the Wildcat side. And Cara Hall will inbound to Lily Smith now, back to Cara Hall. Cara Hall will bring it forward, give over to Annika Hall. She looks, gives. Veslisa now back. Well, that pass was tipped, and then it's going to be held onto by both Lily Smith and Damiani, and the jump ball is given back to the Vikings on the possession arrow. So now Bistadu will look to inbound. She'll give to Damiani. Damiani will bring it forward on that far side. Start and stop, start again. Now give to Kuhlman. Kuhlman, give on the near side to Bistadu. For three, just off the mark. Rebound, Damiani. You're going to get a jump ball call now. So now checking back in is Folkema. Bella Folkema will check back in for the Vikings for Annabelle Lattimore. Again, 4 fouls, so if one more, she is unfortunately would be done for the game, but she's back in there, and she has been a really, really key part of this team here this evening. Pass up the court. It's going to be Bella Folkema making an immediate impact as soon as she enters the game, getting a steal. That's why you want her in there. Kuhlman now driving to the basket. This shot, oh, good-looking shot just off the mark, and Lily Smith with the rebound for the Wildcats. Annika Hall going to push the pace herself, trying to get it, and it's stolen away on the block by Johanna Bartke. Her 4th block and 3rd steal. Kuhlman settles things down as she brings it into the front court. She found another lane to the basket, is bumped by Eagle, and will go to the line and shoot 2. Eagle with her 2nd, team's 4th. And Kuhlman will shoot 2. First one is good. Make it, or I thought it was anyways. Yeah, it is. 48-28. And this one gets the friendly bounce. Also drops in, so it's 49-28. Claire Beaver checks back into the game for the Wildcats. She'll give it to Goring. Goring should have definitely taken that shot as she turned around, but tried to take one more step. But as she took that shot, apparently she was fouled. Thought it was a block by Caitlin Lattimore, but they're not going to agree. They say she got more than the ball on that one. So now Goring will shoot 2. Meanwhile, it was Caitlin Lattimore's 3rd, team's 3rd. And Goring no good on the 1st. This one gets the bounce off the front of the rim and is in. So 1 of 2 there for Goring to make it 49-29. Vikings have it back. Kuhlman wasting no time getting that one up to Damiani, who's wide open underneath the net. Somehow she was forgotten about by the Wildcats, and she makes them pay. 51-29, under 9 minutes to go now. Thorson give underneath to Larson. Larson too strong, and Folkema gets the rebound. Now to Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to get her a screen, a screen, and Thorson's going to get the foul called on her, and Kuhlman will go line to shoot 2. Thorson with her 1st, team's 5th, and it's Kuhlman to shoot 2. First one from Kuhlman is up and good. This one's up and good as well. So Kuhlman drops both of them in, and we'll get a timeout called here. We'll wait and see by who. It's going to be by the Wildcats. It'll be a full one. So while they take a timeout, we'll take a timeout. You're listening to girls basketball on KBEK.
Arrowhead Transit, your community, your ride. Arrowhead Transit is proud to support this station and bring you reliable public transportation in your community. Whether you need to get to work, school, or the doctor's office, our friendly drivers and comfortable buses are here to serve you. We're committed to connecting communities and making transportation accessible for everyone. Arrowhead Transit is your community partner in getting around. Arrowhead Transit is a supporting sponsor of the station and is dedicated to supporting our local communities.
Hey there, neighbors. Matt Winsan, CEO Burnett Dairy. Farmers are the people that wake up before the sun, who battle the elements, and tend to their crops and herds with a passion that runs deep in their veins. At this time, I would personally like to thank the farmers. From all of us at Burnett Dairy Cooperative to all of our incredible farmers, thank you. Burnett Dairy Cooperative. Real farms, real flavor.
Back here on KBEK, nice 95.5 FM. The Vikings lead the Wildcats 53-29. Claire Beaver hit both of her free throws. Now the inbound to Claire Beaver. Beaver will look. She'll give over to Thorson. Makes the defender Damiani miss. Now she's going to drive to the basket quickly. Shot is up. Got a little too close to the basket on that one, and the shot no good. Rebounded by Kuhlman. Kuhlman going to dribble herself into his own double team. Now she gets up past it, uses that speed, trying to go to Folkema. Too much juice on that pass for her, and it will go back to Chisago Lakes. Right play by Kuhlman, just a little too much juice on the pass. As now Beaver will get the pass back from Thorson. Thorson wanted to go on that far side, gives to Thorson again, and now they'll bounce past to Goring. Goring, a three, that's going to be off the mark. Didn't set her feet on that one, and that one's going to go out of bounds. Going to say, I think, off of Damiani's leg, so we'll stay with the Wildcats. Inbound now to Larson. Larson backs things up and kind of resets the offense here. Trying to get around Damiani. This time nothing doing. Trying to get a screen. We'll give on the near side to Goring. Both Goring and Beaver wind up at the same spot, same time. Recipe for disaster. And then Kuhlman nearly gets a steal but can't quite hang on to it. And that one will go out of bounds. Well, it's going to give 1 second for the Wildcats to shoot that ball. They got to get it close and then get it off. It is off in time for Goring, but it's not going to hit the rim, so it will be a shot clock violation anyways. And the ball will go back to the Vikings. Again, if the clock hits 0 to reset the clock, you have to hit the rim to set it back to 20. Meanwhile, inbound to Lattimore, and now give up to Damiani, and she's going to get called for the travel. The ball will go back to the Wildcats. 7:35 to go, 53-29 on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Vikings with the lead. Vistadu checks in for Damiani for North Branch, and Claire Beaver will bring this ball up for the Wildcats. Gives on the far side to Thorson. She want to go in that far side corner for Goring. They're trying to set her up for a three, just nothing doing so far, but again, she's gotten some good shots off here in this second half. Now on the near side for three. Oh, a good look, but just rattles out. And the rebound for Kuhlman. Kuhlman up the court to Folkema. Folkema wanted to go inside Barkey. Instead gives on the far side to Bistadu. A little bit high, but Bistadu pulls it down. Bistadu will give back to Barkey now. Barkey will go near side back to Folkema. Folkema trying to drive inside. Will kick it to Kuhlman. Back out to Folkema along two. Just off the mark. But Barkey is there for the rebound. Now out to Caitlin Lattimore. To Bistadu. Bistadu inside. Looking. Will try and give to Bartkey. This one's... And no, it was not a steal. Kuhlman got it back, tried to give the Barkey. Barkey shot was no good, but the shot clock violation will give the ball back to Chisago Lake. 6:39 to go. Again, winner will move on and play on Saturday. If it's North Branch, they'll play either Hermantown or I think it's Duluth-Denfeld. I'll have to look. We'll keep you updated. Goring has it on this near side, trying to give inside to Larson. Poked out by Bartkey, stolen away by Kuhlman. Kuhlman bringing it up the court, give outside now to Caitlin Lattimore for three. It's off the far side of the rim, and the Wildcats will watch this one go out of bounds as it will go back to the Wildcats winner. Again, we'll play, Duluth, Denfeld, or Hermantown on Saturday. If it's Denfeld, North Branch, or Chisago Lakes would have a home game. If it's Hermantown, either one of these teams would go and travel up to Hermantown. Meanwhile, Wildcats have the ball back in their offensive zone. Larson with it, takes one dribble, picks it up, gives to Goring. Goring trying to find a way inside, gives it off now to Annika Smith on that far side. They give to Claire Beaver for 3. And Beaver drops it in to make it 53-32. Kuhlman double team will give up to Caitlin Lattimore. Keeps herself in bounds. Now give to Folkman on the far side. Bistadu. Bistadu getting around 2. Give back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman finds a lane inside. Shot is up, no good, but she's fouled and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. The 6th team foul on the Wildcats. And Goring will get her 3rd. Kuhlman been on the line twice here in this second half. And that one going to be no good. Madison Eagle will check in for Goring. As Leeson will check in for Annika Smith. And this one is good by Kuhlman. 1-2 there on that trip for Kuhlman. 54-32 now. With 5.5 to go. It's Claire Beaver dribbling it up. She'll give it to Thorson. Pausing on her toes. Tries to drive inside. Oh, could have had Caitlin Lattimore for foul. Gives to Asleason now. Asleason in some trouble. Trying to go inside to Madison Eagle. Eagle has, that I was going to say they had it blocked by Bartkey, but they're going to get her for a foul instead. It'll be her 3rd, team's 4th. And now Eagle at the line to shoot 2. Eagles' first one is up and good. Annika Hall will check in for Thorson. 54-33. And Eagle no good on the second, rebounded by Kuhlman. So 1-2 there for Madison Eagle. Kuhlman grabs another rebound here in the second half. Make it 5 in the second half. Kuhlman directing traffic, looking for Lattimore to get some sort of a screen. Now give to Folkema. Folkema will drive inside, give to Bartkey. Bartkey can't pull it down cleanly, but it almost helps her out because now she draws the foul and goes to the line to shoot 2. 7th team foul on the Wildcats. They're going to get this one on Larson. Bartkey, first one up, no good. And Bartkey good on that one. 55-33. Under 5 to go in this game. Larson trying to find an open shot, trying to look for that hook shot. Now she'll give out back to Annika Hall for 2. It's a long 2. Her foot was on the line, unfortunate for Chisago Lakes, but a 2 no less. And now this ball from Kuhlman is going to be stolen by Asleason. And Claire Beaver will kick it back outside to Larson for 3. That's going to be no good. But it's Claire Beaver with the rebound, and her shot is no good. She gets another one. She gives to Eagle for 2. 55-35. Caitlin Lattimore, or 37, excuse me. On the far side, Lattimore with it. Looking around Bistadu, now gives to Bistadu. Bistadu trying to drive baseline, gives inside to Bartkey. Off the back of the glass, no good, and this one's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by Claire Beaver. So the ball will stay with the Vikings. We'll get a substitution. Damiani in for Caitlin Lattimore. And the Vikings will inbound to Bartkey. Bartkey to Folkema now. Folkema trying to find a lane, gives back outside. Damiani wanted the 3. Looks for the shot again, will instead give to Folkema. Now to Bartkey, now to Kuhlman. And Kuhlman will try to drive to the basket. She does, and the shot is up and good for 2. 57-37. There, Beaver. Drive inside. Give to Madison Eagle. That one was tipped and it's knocked out of bounds by the Wildcats. So we'll go back to North Branch. Under 3.5 to go in the game. Vikings trying to punch their ticket to the semifinal round, either against Denfeld or Hermantown. Kuhlman gets around the baseline, tippy-toeing it, then give up to Folkema, and unfortunately she's called for the travel. So turnover, and it'll give back to the Wildcats. A timeout called here by the Wildcats themselves, and it'll be their team's fourth. I was saying it was a foul. Fourth timeout called by the Wildcats. They'll be left with one. 3:17 to go. Still some time left, but the Vikings kind of control things defensively and offensively. Doing a really good job here on both sides. .317 left as we get North Branch back out onto the court. Chisago Lakes will follow, just taking an extra moment. And there they come. So 20-point difference. But again, we've seen the Wildcats' ability to go on a little bit of a run here and there. And if they were able to do that again here, it would be, I mean, in this part of the game, it would be huge because then they could work their way to cutting this deficit down. But defensively for North Branch, they have just been on the mark. And now Larson will take it to the basket, left alone there to the basket. And if you're North Branch, can't have that happen. 57-39. Meanwhile, Visadou brings it up the court for the Vikings. And this ball is off the leg of Folkema. It's going to be stolen away. That's Larson. This ball is tipped by Bartkey and stolen away by Visadou, so the Vikings get it right back. Kuhlman will give up to Damiani now. Damiani trying to get around the edge of the defender. Now trying to get it to Kuhlman, and it's Larson again with another steal. She's all alone this time and drops it in for two to make it 57-41. And now a timeout called by the Vikings. Vikings will take a 30-second timeout as well, so we'll keep it here. 2:23 to go. A good run there for the Wildcats out of that timeout, scoring 4 unanswered. Again, it's only 4 unanswered, but that's a start. That's where you start. And for the Wildcats, you can't be upset with 4 points. I mean, you know, there's a long way to go, but at this point, you don't even talk about how far it is to go to get, you know, back into this one. You just talk about, hey, keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring. It will be North Branch who will inbound. Inbound from Caitlin Lattimore to Kuhlman. She'll give it back up to Lattimore. Lattimore will bring it into the front court. She'll now shift and give it over to Visadou on the far side. Getting a screen from Barkey. Wanted to go inside to Barkey. A long three again from Kuhlman. This one's going to be no good. The last touch out of bounds by Folkema. And the ball will go back to the Wildcats. We've seen Kuhlman hit plenty of those here tonight, but that one just off the mark. And as Leeson will inbound to Beaver. Beaver into the front court. Now they got to pick up the pace a little bit. Still trailing by 8-16. This ball lost. And Visadou with another steal. Give to Kuhlman, now up the court to Visadou in the front court. Visadou is going to be fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 1-1. It's the 8th team foul on the Wildcats and the 3rd on Larson. Visadou's first one is good for her first point of the game. Make it 58-41. And this one a little too strong. Rebound, though, for Ella Kuhlman. And now going to the basket is Folkema. She's fouled, and now she'll get to go to line for a 1-and-1. 9th team foul on the Wildcats. They're going to get this one on Madison Eagle. There's 2 shots for Folkema. The first one is good. 59-41. Kuhlman out, and in is, I can't quite see the number. We'll get you the number, though. Folkema good on both. So 60-41. Meanwhile, the new young lady who is in for the Vikings is number 5, Sophia Peterson. And guess who gets the steal? Peterson. So into the game and an impact right away for Peterson. She'll have it on the far side of the court now. She'll circle around, try to go inside to Caitlin Lattimore. It's going to be stolen away by Madison Eagle. And Annika Hall gives over to Larson. For a minute and a half to go. Claire Beaver on the far side looking for 3. That rattles home to make it 60-44. Well, not over yet, folks. Just over a minute to go. Folkema gets around 1 defender. Splits 2 more into the front court. And that ball poked out from behind by Claire Beaver. Claire Beaver, they still have a chance, ladies and gentlemen. This game is far from over. She'll give it over to Annika Hall on the far side of the court. It's going to come up just short on the 3, and then the foul by Folkema will be her 5th. And Eagle will shoot 2. Ella Folkema, unfortunately, her 5th. Team's 5th, and she'll be out for the remainder of the 48 seconds of this one. Annabelle Lattimore into the game, as well as number 15. And 15 is Madison Orff. Meanwhile, Madison Eagles' first shot is up and no good. 60-44, and also into the game is number 3. That is Carolyn Lombard. And Eagle drops in the second, so she'll go 1 of 2. I think we're going to get a timeout just for subs for the Wildcats. It will be. And in for the first time tonight for Chisago Lakes is 35, Ruby Anderson. With it is, Peterson. Peterson finds an open lane to the basket, trying to give off to Annabelle Lattimore. And this one is going to be picked up by Charlene Garcia Vasquez. Vasquez on the far side. A timeout is called. 33.9 seconds to go. This is purely just to hold on to the possession for the Vikings. Don't want to lose possession. Want to try and dribble out the rest of the clock here. 60-45. Vikings trying to move on to the section semifinal where they would face either Hermantown or Duluth-Denfeld. If it was Denfeld, they'd get another home game. But if it's Hermantown, they'd have to go up to Hermantown. Looking at it, Haley Diaz, by the way, is back out here to support her team. That is crazy. It does look like it's her shoulder that dislocated. So my assumption, unfortunately, was right. She did have her shoulder pop out. They got it back into place, though, I've heard, and she's out there to support her team. Man, what a warrior. She's out there to support her team, being hurt. Also in the game for the Vikings is Charisse Garcia Velasquez. But yeah, Haley Diaz, what a warrior. She's back out there on the bench in that sling to support her team. Wants to see them win, man. Very cool. Sophia Peterson with it and lost it. Now with it going the other way is 13. That's Ella Smith. Now we'll get a double dribble here by Cara Hall. But we'll go back to the Vikings, and they'll just dribble this clock out. 22 seconds to go before the game is over. Inbound to Sophia Peterson, and she gets around the defender. Spin move, and now into the front court, and they'll just move this ball around. Annabelle Lattimore, again, don't need to take the shot, but trying to take one, and that one's going to be no good. We're going to get a foul called here on Madison Orff. It'll be her first, team sixth. Ball will go back to the Wildcats with 9 seconds to go. Inbound from Ella Smith to Cara Hall. Back to Ella Smith. And 1 second to go. Shot is up, no good. And the Vikings will move on to the semifinal after a 60-45 win over the Wildcats. We'll take a commercial break and be right back. We'll see if we can't maybe get an interview with head coach Joe Lattimore. And we'll be back after word from our fine sponsors here on Nice 95.5 KBEK in this girls section playoff matchup.
The truth is, you don't have to be an athlete to need physical therapy. Car accidents, work accidents, and simply aging can take its toll on our bodies. Physical therapy consultants in North Branch, Isani, Andover, Ham Lake, St. Francis, and Zimmerman can help you heal. Services like massage therapy, orthopedic care, and more. Physical therapy consultants can help. Call Physical Therapy Consultants at 1-888-THERAPY. All insurance plans accepted, including workers' comp and auto.
Baseball and softball coaches, are you looking for dry, warm practice time?
Here's the Pitch in North Branch can help. Here's the Pitch offers amazing indoor options for your team.
Offering state-of-the-art pitching machines and batting cages.
And space for you to give instruction without worrying about the weather outside.
Take your athletes to the next level.
Coach up your team during every season or off-season. Affordable practice space for your ball teams.
Make your reservation today.
Call Here's the Pitch today or visit them on Facebook.
Here's the Pitch in North Branch.
You gotta stop somewhere, so make a stop into the Holiday Station store in Pine City and start saving. Right now, grab CK Oil, save $2 when you buy 2, or CK Diesel DEF treatment for only $23.99. While you're at Holiday, they still have the $3, $4, $5 meal deals on some of your favorite items, and Refresh Team Spirit with Mountain Dew are 3 for $6, or Celsius, buy one get one free. Whoa! Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City.
Brad here from Lee's Pro Shop in Pine City. We're a full-service lettering shop with a full line of athletic supplies for any sport. We have professional staff here at Lee's Pro Shop to customize your orders. We are the pros who specialize in athletic apparel and equipment. We even do trophies and awards as well as computerized engraving in the store. Let Lee's Pro Shop help you with any athletic apparel. Lee's Pro Shop, servicing our communities since 1973, where the passion for sports begins.
Need reliable energy? Burnett Dairy Cooperative has you covered with top quality propane services. Whether you're heating your home, running your business, or firing up the grill, our propane is safe, efficient, and always dependable. Choose Burnett Dairy Cooperative Propane, your trusted partner for all things energy. Stay warm, stay powered, stay local.
Your journey to smile with your forever starts at Embrace Orthodontics. The team at Embrace is committed to providing world-class care and a remarkable orthodontic experience. Choose between custom Light Force braces or Invisalign clear aligners with locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge, and a plan to fit your budget, whether you have insurance or not. Embrace Orthodontics will make your smile journey comfortable, convenient, and customized just for you. Visit EmbraceMN.com today to find out how to set up your free exam. EmbraceMN.com. Embrace Orthodontics, a smile you will embrace forever.
You gotta stop somewhere, so make a stop into the Holiday Station store in Pine City and start saving. Right now, grab CK Oil, save $2 when you buy 2, or CK Diesel DEF treatment for only $23.99. While you're at Holiday, they still have the $3, $4, $5 meal deals on some of your favorite items, and Refresh Team Spirit with Mountain Dew are 3 for $6, or Celsius, buy one get one free. Whoa! Better get into the Freeway Holiday Station store in Pine City.
Back here on Nice 95.5 FM KBEK. The final in this one, the Vikings beat the Chisago Lakes Wildcats 60-45. Taking a look at the stats from this game. On the Wildcat side, leading the way was Claire Beaver with 11-8 for both Kayla Larson and Annika Hall, 6 for Ann Goring, 4 for both Cooksley and Eagle, then 3 for Az Leeson, and 1 for Thorson. They had 13 steals, 2 blocks, 11 of 21 from the free throw line, and had 16 team fouls. For North Branch, leading the way was Ella Kuhlman with 24, then 12 for Joanna Bartkey, 8 for Maria Damiani, 5 for both Caitlin Lattimore and Haley Diaz, then 4 for Bella Folkema, and 1 each for Bistadu and Annabelle Lattimore. They had 17 steals, they had 5 blocks, they were 18 of 26 from the free throw line, they had 16 total team fouls. They were led in rebounds by Bartkey with 8-7 for Kuhlman. Again, 6 steals in the second half, 11 in the first half. Rebound or free throw wise in the second half, would have liked to see a little bit better, but 12 of 18 still not bad. 18 of 26 on the night. Fouls kind of piled up for them early on there in that first half. Then they kind of settled in and laid off and were really able to kind of correct things going forward. So for North Branch, it's a good win. Obviously, they still have some things to work on, and for head coach Joel Lattimore, he'll be telling the girls, it wasn't a perfect game, but we got the win, and that's all that matters now. It doesn't matter. It's a brand new season, as we know, going forward. Everyone's 0-0 at this point in the season. As you move forward, it doesn't matter what happened during the regular season because now the real season begins, and the Vikings are now 1-0 on this brand new season here in postseason play, and will now be joined by the North Branch head coach, Joel Lattimore. First of all, Joe, congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thanks, game day. It's great to be on the winning end of a playoff game, especially at home. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, and to start this game, it was turnovers were kind of the talking point early on in that one. Your team was able to turn around and offensively kind of get going there right before half. What was it like to see your team kind of see that dysfunction early on, but then see them really gather around each other?
Yeah, they did a good job. That's one of the things we talked about is like turnovers. We wanted to be less than 15 for the game. I think we were probably double that, but that was one of our focuses coming in. And, Chisago, they do a great job of playing defense. Their girls play hard. They work hard. They do a great job of trying to take away our best player, Ella Kuhlman, and they did that to start the game. And, what really helped us early is we were able to find some outlets, find Joe Barkey down low, and she had a great start to the game to help us kind of build a lead. And then once Ella caught fire, we were able to kind of extend that lead. So, it was a little bit of herky-jerky in the first half there. But, again, we've got 7 seniors that are playing their last home game here, so there's a lot of emotions that go through tonight. So we were able to battle through that, and then extend a lead, and then really extend that lead in the second half, and really able to honor our seniors. Then at the end, kind of get some girls off so they can get a final clap there at the end. So it was a great team victory all around.
Certainly, and what was the message to the girls there before they kind of got hot offensively to try and settle them back down and just get into the game and play their style of basketball?
Yeah, game day, they did a really nice job of trying to speed us up, and we were playing fast, and we're just playing a little too fast. So the message was just, hey, we just got to calm down, slow down. Let's see if we can run some of our offensive sets and get after it. And we were able to do that then towards the probably the second half of the first half. We were able to get some nice looks and kind of slow down and able to create some opportunities for all of our scores. We had a lot of girls be able to leak out there on the fast break and then finish too. So that was key for us in that second half. And then defensively, we just did a really nice job of limiting their shot attempts, possessions, and I thought we did a really good job of defending. They had a hard time, it looked like, kind of figuring out what we were doing and then what they were going to do to it, so to our defense. So I just thought our defense kind of helped get us settled and then get into it, our offensive flow.
Yeah, we talk about some of the turnovers, had some again here in the second half, but the hustle by your team to go back, either knock the ball out of their hands or get in the way for them not get an easy shot. What is it like to see your team play so hard like that, even if they do give the ball up, they're back right away to try and defend?
Yeah, they did a great job of getting back defensively to try and get some. We had a couple times where we lost some girls in transition, but we did have girls back there, so we had girls sprinting back trying to make plays, and if we were able to do that, then we were able to get it off to a side and then let them get into their offensive set, and then we were able to kind of regroup from there. I thought we did a really good job up top. They run a really nice offense, kind of that I call it scissors, where they run one girl in front and then the ball handler comes around. It's a really nice, a rub pick, and I thought our girls up top did a really nice job of defending that because they couldn't get to the basket on that roll once they got around that that rub screen, whatever you want to call it. So our girls up top did a really nice job of defending that, and I think that helped defensively for us. Like I said, getting our bearings, getting some stops, and being able to get into the offensive set the way we wanted to. When there was an out of bounds or stuff like that, they were able to put the press on, and double. And come after our point guard, and then we were able to then find our outlets and then get it out and go. So that was important for us.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, Haley Diaz checked out of this game with an injury. But what was it like for the team to be able to see her come back out and still support them even after getting injured?
Well, she did something to her shoulder, which is a recurring injury. So we were told she was going to the hospital to have it pop back in. And, I guess the story is they hit a bump and it went back into place.
Oh my goodness!
It was good to see her back on the court. So it was good to have her back as support for us on the courts. And we just we'll see what the prognosis is for her. But she's very vital to our defense. She's kind of sets a tone for us defensively. Great hustle, great energy. She just does a lot of things on. Off the ball for us offensively, and then on defense, she really sets the tone for us for our defense.
Absolutely, and now you guys will get a few days to prepare here. More than likely going to be facing the number 2 seed in Hermantown team, who you've seen before, but had a close game with. What's the message to the girls here going into Saturday's game?
Well, for us, game day, we had one. We didn't play our best game up there, and credit to them. They did some really nice things to us to kind of limit what we could do, but we had it down to 2 points with I think 4 minutes to go in that game, and just we got outscored there at the end. So I think the message for us is, last year we were the 4 seed and we had to go play Rockridge. Well, that's a hard task, right? This year we're the 3 seed by virtue of that Cloquet game that we won, so we got to 3 seeds, so that gives us the opportunity to go play Hermantown, which I think we match up well with and can compete against, and I think that'll be a really good battle for us on Saturday.
Absolutely, and obviously it'd be one more game to the championship, but how do you make sure that these girls focus in on that one game and not try to look too far ahead?
Yeah, it's right now we're just one game at a time. We didn't even start. We haven't even talked about Hermantown until after the game tonight to see where we're at. It's like we said, the old cliche. It's survive in advance, right? Survive in advance. So that's what it was all about today. Is just being able to, have that home court game, being able to get the victory here, celebrate our seniors at the end, as they were able to come off. Big enough lead, we're able to bring each of them off individually, have a little curtain call for them. So, but now it's moving on. Okay, we've got that win. That's nice. Now, can we go up to Hermantown, compete, do the little things right, and then be victorious? So then we can talk about going to Denfeld on next Thursday.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on the win here tonight, and good luck on Saturday.
It. Thanks, Game Day. We really appreciate you and all your help and all your support of local sports. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again to head coach Joe Lattimore of the North Branch girls basketball team. Appreciate him for joining us here in the post game as the Vikings do beat the Wildcats 60-45. They'll again more than likely be heading up to Hermantown on Saturday for that second round, semifinal game. Looks like, yes, Hermantown did win 68-33 over Denfeld. They do a really good job of updating these. Rockridge also beat Hibbing 92-22, and Cloquet beat Grand Rapids 67-48. So it's the top 4 seeds left. Not too surprising in this section that the top 4 seeds are the only ones left. The top 4 were kind of the best of this section. But they'll play up at Hermantown on Saturday against the Hawks and try and win that game. Again, earlier in the season, they played against them. It was a tough game in the sense that they had it and then fell behind late, as you heard Coach Lattimore talk about there. Again, kind of had it in their hands, but fell late. It was a 65-52 win for Hermantown. But like I said, it just, when you're looking at that game, it didn't feel that lopsided because of the fact that North Branch was so close with so little time left. But again, you got to give credit to Hermantown for making the plays that they needed to and scoring when they needed to get the victory. The tough part about the playoffs is for one team the season ends. And tonight that is for Chisago Lakes. And it's unfortunate to see their season end. But for them, I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want it to come off rude, but it's not as bad. I think that's the wrong word I'm looking for, but it's not as kind of sad as some years may be. Why? They don't have one senior on the team. Maybe they do manager-wise. I don't know the graduation years of their managers. So maybe that's one of the seniors that they would have. But on the roster for the basketball team, they do not have a senior on their basketball roster. So for this team, they will have everyone back. Well, hopefully everyone back. Again, things happen. We won't put bad juju on anybody, but things happen, and sometimes players decide that they want to prepare for a spring sport instead during the winter and decide they don't want to play. So there are lots of things that happen, but more than likely they'll have everyone from this team back next year. I can't wait to see that. They've got 3 juniors, Cooksley, Kayla Larson, and Rayanne Goring, who will be seniors next year, but the rest are going to be still underclassmen, and man, that team's going to be a lot of fun to watch next year as, again, they will bring back dang near everybody from this team this year to next year. And again, like I said, for the next 2, 3, 4 years, this team's going to be a ton of fun to watch grow. For North Branch, they've got Hermantown on Saturday. That should be a good one there for the Vikings, trying to get some revenge from an earlier season loss against Hermantown. Again, so they'll have a chance on the road to get that win over the Hawks. Again, I want to thank head coach Joe Lattimore for joining us post-game. I want to thank you for tuning in to tonight's game, and thank all of our fine sponsors who sponsor this and every other broadcast that we do throughout both the playoffs and the regular season. If it's not for them, well, then we don't get to come out here and call any games. And don't forget about you. Don't forget about you. Or I'm not forgetting about you. Are you forgetting about you? I'm certainly not, because if you're not tuning in and you're not watching and or listening, then, well, I don't have reasons to come out to these games anymore because nobody's tuning in. So I appreciate you for tuning in. It does mean a lot to me. I get to continue to call games, and again, it does mean a lot to me to be able to be out here and call these games. So I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But the final again on this one, the Vikings beat the Wildcats 60-45. Don't forget, you can stay tuned to our morning shows on 95.5 FM, this station, with Rock and Robin Riley at 7:30 and 8:30, or over on 100.9 FM with Josh Amiron at 7:45 and 8:45 for your local sports updates, where we'll talk this game, all the other games going on in our local listening area, plus some regional and national sports as well. Another way you can stay tuned is our websites, both kbk.com and wcmpradio.com. We'll have that broadcast schedule under the sports tab. You can find the links to all the games that we'll be at this week, and that is subject to change, but we'll also have articles from games that we've been at and coaches and players interviews on there. And another way you can stay tuned is our social medias on both the Facebook pages for each stations, our Instagram for both stations, plus our Twitter at WCMP Radio for all things local sports, breaking sports news, records being broken, LOIs being signed, coaches retiring, coaches being hired, breaking sports news, all that and more, and games that will be at, articles from games we've been at, and so much more. So like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you got to do to stay tuned to our all things local sports on our social medias. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. And remember, be kind to everyone. You never know what someone is going through. Your kindness could truly make their day. It costs nothing to be kind. So let's be kind to everybody. We need more kindness in the world today, and you'd be surprised what one small act of kindness can do for somebody. It can change their life for that day. It really can. You'd be surprised at what it can do for that person. Just with you saying a hello or a nice comment or holding the door. I mean, it's that simple. It really is, ladies and gentlemen. So let's all try and be a little bit more kinder in our lives to everyone else, whether you're driving, whether you're at the store, no matter what. Let's all try and be more kind in today's world. The final, once again, on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard, the Vikings beat the Wildcats 60-45 in this Section 7-3A playoff girls basketball game. So for Nice 95.5 FM, I'm Ethan Game Day Gillen. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night.